Everybody, what's going on? GoofyRhexxi here. Hope everybody is doing well. Wanted to talk about the top free-to-play villain characters for beginners in Marvel Strike Force. I did a video a couple weeks ago where we talked about the top free-to-play beginner characters for a lot of different campaigns, right? Heroes, Cosmic, Mystic, all that stuff. But I felt as if though I did not take enough time to talk about the villain characters, especially being that those are kind of harder to get out of the gate. What direction should you go in here? There was still some questions. So I wanted to make a video that specifically targeted and talked about villain characters. So the way that we're going to be doing this video today, we're going to talk about characters that you can get right out of the gate, right? Who you can use. Then we're going to talk about characters that I would recommend that you target farm and then use for your first few chapters for your villains campaign. We're going to talk about characters that you can grab as well that are going to provide you with more long-term value. Then we're going to also talk about characters that, hey, if you do get lucky with these characters, maybe they're not super free to play early enough for you, but if you do get lucky with these characters, then hey, you should definitely invest into these as well. We're going to talk about those and highlight those characters in this video. So first and foremost, let's dive into the first characters that you're probably going to be able to get at least early enough, maybe not right out of the gate, but early enough out of the gate that you can use. So these two characters I'm going to talk about here are going to be Elektra and then Crossbones. I do want to put a disclaimer out here. While you can get them early, you do not want to invest into them past a certain gear tier. I wouldn't bring these two characters like Crossbones and Elektra. I wouldn't bring them past gear tier, let's say maybe 8. That's probably the max that I would bring them up to. But once you start doing some campaign stuff here for like your heroes campaign, you are going to get a specific campaign where you can unlock Elektra and one where you can unlock Crossbones. And you can use them early enough to be able to kind of get you through some of the first maybe couple nodes or first couple chapters here of that villain's campaign. But then after that, really, like I said, you're going to replace them later on. So I wouldn't bring them past gear tier 8. That would be the maximum that I would bring them up to. But some other characters that you can put a little bit higher investment into are going to be these 3 characters right here. And I'll talk about where to get them. And I'll also give you a level cap on those characters as well. It's going to be these 3 Sinister 6 characters here. So that's Rhino, that is Mysterio, and that is also Elektra. These 3 characters have the Sinister 6 tag, so you're actually going to be able to use them once you do get to Villains Chapter 7. Once you get to Villains Chapter 7, and I'll duck out here and I'll talk about that because I'm a visual person, so I'm sure that you're probably a visual person as well. So I want to kind of just give you that visual here. Once you get to Villains Chapter 7, these first 3 nodes right here, you need to either use characters that have the AIM tag, the Hydra tag, or the Sinister 6 tag. So the reason why I'm picking those 3 characters and I'm talking about right here are because they have the Sinister 6 tag. You can also get them early enough in the game, and therefore they're going to provide you with some early chapter value for your villains campaigns. But then also even as well, once you get to level Chapter 7, you're also going to be able to use them there as well. Now, Rhino, you can grab from the Blitz store. He is a 15 shard unlock, so fairly easy to get by using your Blitz credits in order to be able to get him. Mysterio, you can grab from the Heroes Chapter 2-3 campaign. And then Elektra is also in that Blitz store as well, so you can target farm her and get her from there. She's a 2-star unlock. So they're going to be a little bit harder for you to be able to take a little bit more time for you to be able to get here. But once again, I think it's good value that you can use here for your Blitz credits. Also want to mention too as well that these Sinister 6 characters can be used to unlock 2 legendary characters, one being an Invisible Woman that you can use for a flash event. So therefore you're probably going to want to invest into them for that. And also you can use them to unlock Shuri, who is another legendary that you can use for a Chaos Theory flash event alongside the Wakandan team. And also the Wakandans are pretty good characters in the game too. So therefore, you're investing in these characters and they're going to be able to provide you with some long-term value as well. Now, in terms of gear tier, I wouldn't bring these characters past gear tier 10. That is where I would most likely cap out with these characters. So just keep that in mind as you move forward. Gear tier 10 here with these. Gear tier 8 max with Elektra and Crossbones. But I'm going to talk about another character here that you can bring even past that gear tier 10 level, and that's going to be Mr. Negative. So Mr. Negative is a character that you can only get shards for right now from the web store. So in the web, when you log into, so right now it's MSF.gg where you can log into every single day. You're going to need to create an account for this. So like right over here where you see this, when you go to MSF.gg at first, it's going to be empty here. You're going to need to create an account if you haven't done so already. But then once you do that, there's a store section that is right here where you're going to be able to see 5 shards for Mr. Negative every single day. So you'll be able to unlock him from here. I think within like 20 days or something like that, you're going to be able to unlock Mr. Negative. You're definitely going to want to probably use him. He does provide you with a little bit more long-term value. He's a good endgame character, good plug-and-play character. Although the team that he's a part of is a war team, although they are a war team, and maybe a lot of people don't care about that, I do still think that Mr. Negative has enough plug-and-play value where you can definitely use that character. I do also want to mention too as well that MSF.GG is going to transition over into just being MarvelStrikeForce.com. So still the same thing. You're going to be able to log into your account and then come over to the store and then be able to grab the character shards from there as well. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. We can talk about that if you have any questions here in the comments. All right. And then in terms of other characters that you can farm and that you can grab here, they're going to provide you with some other long-term value. I would say, remember we talked about Villains Chapter 7, 2 characters that you can use here for that are going to be, remember we talked about Hydra and AIM and Sinister Six, 2 characters here that do have the Hydra tag, Winter Soldier, and then also Baron Zemo. So Winter Soldier, you can grab him from the Heroes Chapter 6-3 campaign. So obviously I mentioned him a little bit later on in this video here because it's going to take you a little bit while for you to be able to get him. But once you can target farm him, I definitely would. He provides you with a good long-term value. He's a part of the Rebirth team, which is a raid team that also includes Captain America, Captain Carter, Agent Venom, and my goodness, US Agent. Almost forgot that for a second there. So yeah, I mean, you're going to want to grab him, use him there. Also, Baron Zemo, while his late game value can maybe not be as high for some players, I still do use him in endgame content right now. But because of those Villains Chapter 7 nodes where a lot of the enemy characters are going to be minion characters, Zemo does really well against minion characters. Also that turn 1, being able to blow up and apply ability block, things like that. He's going to provide you with a lot of really good value there. So therefore, I would say Baron Zemo and Winter Soldier are 2 characters that you're going to want to grab. Baron Zemo is going to be a raid store character, so it is going to take you a while to be able to get him, which is the reason why, once again, I mentioned him a little bit later on in this video. It is 1,400 credits for you to be able to farm and target farm and unlock Baron Zemo. You could also go with raid orbs too to unlock, to open up those raid orbs and then try to get lucky with shards for him, because there are some other good characters that are also in that raid store as well. But you know, I would probably target for him because at least you know exactly where your raid credits are going. You're not getting a ton of them in the beginning, so maybe probably target farmer would be a better direction to go in. But you know, apart from that, guys, you know, I think that can take you through really most of your villains campaign stuff, right? Like your early enough campaigns, the first couple chapters here. Then once you get to Chapter 7, you know, being able to use Winter Soldier and Baron Zemo, you may be able to unlock them before that. I think that's really ultimately all you need just to be able to get through the campaign. Now, some other characters that, if you unlock these characters, are still going to provide with some good value here are characters like Killmonger. Killmonger is a part of that Wakandan team. He is in the raid store, but versatile character in my opinion, because of a lot of the areas that you can use him. You can use him as a part of the mercenary team to then get through your Payday Flash event. You can also use, like I said, that Wakandan team to get through Chaos Theory. You can also use them as well as a part of that skilled military team to then do another Flash event where you can get training mats, things like that. So you're going to get some good value out of him here. Doctor Strange Heartless is in the arena store. I think you have to open up arena orbs in order to be able to get this character. So if you choose to go with arena orbs and open up a bunch of those, then if you do get shards for Doctor Strange Heartless, then he's going to provide you with good value, because you will be able to, he's a part of the Darkhold team, which is the team that you need to unlock the legendary Apocalypse. So therefore, once again, good long-term value that you'll be able to get from a character like that. And there were a couple other characters that I wrote down here, and I'm just going to kind of just pull up my sheet and just make sure that I talk about them. It is not out of worldly or impossible for me to believe that some players may be able to get Morgan Le Fay earlier on, right? She's a part of that Darkhold team. She's a legendary Horseman character, so you'll need to go through the Scourge event in order to be able to unlock her. But it's not impossible that I think that some earlier players may be able to get access to a character like Morgan Le Fay. So I did at least want to talk about her here on this list. Also as well, Magneto, who's another legendary character. You can also, he's another legendary character. He's also a part of a legendary Horseman team. And with the Dead Sea team, which is a raid team, that's a team that Archangel is the leader for as a legendary character. You can unlock him too. You got to use Brotherhood characters or X-Men characters in order to be able to unlock him. So there is some value that you're going to be able to get from him there. Long-term value, once again, is kind of the way that I'm looking at this character. You're definitely going to want to, but you definitely can get a character like him and then invest into him. There's a couple other ones here. I'm trying not to make this too convoluted. That's the reason why you kind of see me fumbling a little bit here, because I don't want to talk about too many characters and then confuse anybody. But there's Archangel, there's Abomination. If you get lucky with those, with character like Abomination, yes, invest. Archangel, you will need to do a Scourge event in order to be able to unlock him. There is Emma Frost, there's Nemesis, and Dark Beast are a part of the Dead Sea team that Magneto is on. That's another legendary Horseman team. You're going to need that team until we be able to unlock Apocalypse. Emma is in the Milestone Orbs. No, Emma has a node now, right? But I still think that she is in the Milestone Orbs, so you can get some shards for her there. This Heroes campaign is one of the later Heroes campaigns. You won't be able to unlock it until you get to level 75, so that's not really viable for earlier players. There's some other characters too that we could talk about here, like Hela. There's Morbius. There's Kingpin. Kingpin is, you can get him at Nexus 7-9, but it will take some time to be able to get there. That's the reason why they don't talk about him early enough here or earlier. There's also Nebula. And then also there's new characters, right? So if you are playing the game and you kind of get lucky with getting some of the newer characters, the newer villain characters that are being introduced, let's say that you unlock Titania, or you unlock Kane the Conqueror, or Moonstone, or Absorbent Man, right? Like if you unlock characters like that, then yes, you're going to want to use those characters because the newer characters that get released are going to provide you with a lot more long-term value than some of the older characters, although I did provide you with some older characters that do have long-term value as well. So hopefully this video was helpful. Of course, if you haven't done so already, do take a look at that beginner video that I did talk about the other characters that you can use for those teams. That definitely is a good video, but this, like I said, I wanted to do a little bit more targeted here towards the villains campaign. If you do want me to do more videos like this, where I specifically break down campaign information and just do that in one video and give you the best options, then leave it in the comments, because I'm definitely happy to do so as well. But listen, appreciate you guys watching the video. Hit subscribe if you haven't done so already to the channel. If you want to see more content like this, hit the like button, also the notification bell so that you know when the videos do go live. And until next time, guys, y'all be blessed, y'all be safe.